So good afternoon, everybody. I think we should start now. I'm sure other people will join us in the course of the event. So my name is GMT20220226. I'm the managing partner of Solid Foundation Estates. We're the conveners of this event. I also want to once again thank us all for taking out time to be here today. So we're talking about real estate investment opportunities in Nigeria. I also want to thank the executives of NIDO for giving us their platform to share our thoughts with you. We recognize the fact that a lot of Nigerians in diaspora still want to be linked to the source, but they have a challenge on how to go about it, who to trust, and the right vehicle and what to view. So we thought about all the pain that people go through, and we were able to come up with this platform whereby people can still invest back in Nigeria and have value for their money with no strings attached whatsoever. So in this room to this afternoon is Motolani Fayomi, sorry. She's a member of the Emerging Corporate Group in Sterling Bank, and she's also going to be talking to us about the bank and what Sterling Bank can offer us. I also have in the room with me today, Barrister Bayo Akeju. And there have been questions on legal matters when people have issues titling in Nigeria and what have you. So we're going to take it in 3 sections. I'm going to be sharing with you the concept of the home ownership. And then we are going to, Madam Motolani will talk to us about Sterling Bank and what the bank can offer you. And then in the course of questions and answers, if there are legal issues or things that you want a lawyer to talk about, then we would pass it on to Barrister Akeju. Barrister Akeju has a lot of experience both in Nigeria and the United Kingdom. Now, in this meeting, we have people from all over Europe, and then we have some from North America. So it's going to be a robust meeting. So I'm going to start sharing my slides. Sorry, can you hear me? I just wanted feedback. Can you hear me, please? Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. I thought I was alone. So I'm going to start sharing my slides now about the concept of home ownership. Okay. Thank you. Okay, so I mean, for those of us, I introduced myself shortly before now. So my name is Towo Tekola. My background is estate management. I'm a graduate of estate management from the University of Lagos, and I also have a degree in home ownership from the Pan-African University. I'm a certified professional facility manager, and also a certification in sales and marketing from Canada. I'm a member of the Nigerian Institution of Estate Surveyors and Valuers and International Facility Management Association, the Nigerian chapter, and also a member of the Real Estate Developers Association of Nigeria. Now, because of my interest, I did courses across, different countries so that at least I can have a broader view of what we're doing. And of course, I'm still learning. Now, as an organization, we're 25 years old, and I'm opportunity to be the founding partner of Solid Foundation Estate. So we're a firm of real estate consultants. Our vision actually is to create wealth for our clients through real estate investment opportunities. Now, we're not just interested in money, we want to keep the partnership. And that's one of the reasons that made us to think out the home ownership scheme. Now, what's this scheme all about? We found out that a lot of Nigerians in diaspora, they still want to be tied to their roots in Nigeria. They want to own homes simply because, Nigeria in itself, most people know that Nigeria is a cash cow. It's still a developing economy. But in the process of trying to invest back home, a lot of things happen. People get scammed because they probably went through friends and family, or maybe a developer and what have you. There are lots of stories that come out of such. So we came up with this idea that if you still want to invest back home, you don't have to route your money through anybody, not even a real estate agent like us. You could, I mean, you put your money through a bank, and then the bank, we as estate surveyors would identify the home that is suited to your investment. I mean, what you would like to do. Now, it's not just you telling us, but we can also give advice and say this is the best thing to do, because we recognize that for every investment has a potential, but there is also the highest and best use, that your investment choice comes with the best return on investment at the earliest time possible. So we came up with this product paper. You put your money in the bank. It's your own account. You open it yourself. If we identify an investment that you like, or you identify one yourself, then the bank does not release the funds to the developer or the property owner until there has been a due diligence. So in that way, there is no story of somebody took my money and I didn't get it back. Now, another thing we found out is that real estate is capital. Of course, we all know that it's capital intensive. So psychologically, a lot of people think home ownership is not their lot. It's for maybe the high net worth and the rich people and so on and so forth. So the psychology of it makes us not to own homes. We did like a survey, and we found out that the people that own homes more were people that were either semi-literate or literate, because a lot of us grew up in areas that were our dream areas. Our parents brought us in maybe a nice environment, and then we grew up thinking, when we all want to start our life, we should start from exactly where our parents started. We also found out that people whose parents owned real estate, very, very likely that their children, would own. And those that were renting, their children will also, it's a psychological thing. So we thought about the fact that we're going to start encouraging parents to encourage their children to have an investment mentality. Back in Europe, when a child has, graduated from school and starts to earn and has a good credit history, naturally, the child may move out of the house, begin to rent, or can actually own a home because they pay over a number of years. Back in Africa, it's not the same thing. A child graduates from school at the age of maybe 18, 19, 20, or 21. He can still live rent-free with his parents for another 10 years. And then he's busy buying cars and designer things and what have you. By the time the child is ready to marry, he also begins to rent. So we're saying, because of a lot of children have any opportunities now, that we should begin to encourage children from their youth to have an investment mentality. Those things that we didn't do, let's encourage our children to begin to do them. So this home ownership is not just for adults, it's from everybody in every sphere of, influence. Where houses before is an opportunity for you to own more. Now, why Nigeria as a nation? Yeah, there's a lot going on. We can talk about the fact that, the government policies are not favorable. But Nigeria is, as of now, is the 6th most populous country in the world and has a population of over 200 million people. Now, so the Nigeria still has a huge market untapped. Now, with pandemic, a lot of people have now found the value of owning a house. You work from home and do so many things from home. So there's now a lot of demand for housing. Now, the housing thing is not just even Nigeria. We did a bit of research and found out that in the last year, 2021, as tough as things were in the world because of the pandemic, real estate in Nigeria grew by 37%, real estate activities and all that. And that's been the best in the last 4 years. We also researched into North America and found out that, yes, there's real estate activity also grew. In places like Canada, because of the level of migration of people, there was a lot of demand in housing, especially housing, not even commercial properties. And in UK as well, there was also an increase in development. So now why real estate above all? We know that real estate is an edge against inflation. In the midst of all the global meltdown, interest rates fell drastically. But real estate has proven over and over again to be an edge against inflation. Then, of course, there's the issue of demand and supply. Like I said, I mean, the demand also now one of the things that also we discovered was that residential units, not necessarily the high-end one, were more in demand. You know, houses between 50 to 100 million, or even less, houses for 25 million naira. The developers got creative. They started building houses, even one-bedroom studio apartments for like 15 million naira. And then they start with an off-plan kind of thing. And by the time they are finishing the house has doubled in its pricing. So discerning investors began to put their money in there instead of keeping it in a bank. Another thing we found, I mean, so the challenges of home ownership. You have, I mean, certainly it's capital intensive. So in a lot of ways, most people would need to have some financial backing to be able to make that happen. Then in Nigeria, one of the challenges used to be the issue of documentation, you know, Omonile challenge and the bottlenecks. But thankfully, the government is rising up to the occasion. Lagos State, for example, you know, they have in the land registry now that they have a set for Omoniles. Anybody that comes to grab, land grabbers, they call them, they face a lot of punitive measures. It's no longer, there's a lot of, I mean, there's zero tolerance for that kind of behavior now. We also know that, and then COOs have gone digital. It's no longer, you know, the paper that you carry around, and that has been on for about a decade now, but it's now established that COOs have gone digital. Another thing is the issue of poor quality housing. You know, the construction industry, a lot of people went into it just because they wanted to make money, not necessarily because they were experienced. But we all know it's no news that sometime in November last year, there was a real estate, a building in Ikoyi, that's a Hybro area, that came down. And immediately the general manager of Lagos State Building Control Agency was suspended indefinitely. That's to at least show that the government is rising up to the occasion. After the investigation, the government declared that that building did not stand, it didn't pass integrity, and you know, this would just a matter of time. But the government is very serious about it. I live in that neighborhood, I'm monitoring, and I can see that they are very serious. Nobody even goes in or comes out of the place. So a lot is going on. Then another thing that the government has done, they are putting a lot of structures in place so that anybody that wants to practice as an agent, you must be duly registered. There's a lot going on, and there's a lot of enforcement going on with it, so that at least the buildings that are coming up now will stand the test of time. Another thing that is happening in that industry is that there's the Real Estate Developers Association as well. They have a criteria for you to join as a developer. It's no longer business as usual. Even the annual fees are extremely high, just to discourage people. And that's also to give credence to what is going on there, so that if anything happens, they will be able to come after you and the association can sanction you. So now the housing finance thing. I mean, we all know that, you know, for those of you in the diaspora, it's single digits for you to borrow, but in Nigeria, it's still, as of now, it's a double digits for you to borrow. But then and also the power, the exchange rate now is favorable to those of you abroad. So with not so much money you can buy. But I want to give you certain scenarios. Somebody may say it's not profitable, but Nigeria still has the highest growth, you know, in terms of return of investment. There was a client of ours, and I think it was June last year. He approached us to buy a house, and it was an apartment in the Lekki area. We bought for him in June for 60 million naira because a developer was selling off plan. And then he gave him the first offer to buy addition for them to encourage them to begin to build. Now, by the time it was August, another person approached us, and that same apartment had gone on to 15 million naira. So this was a difference of about 3 to 4 months. Not many places in the world would you get that kind of growth. Now, this is February. That same apartment now is going for 85 million naira, and they are yet to complete the apartment. So the person that took the risk in June and paid 60 million naira in about 16 years ago. There was people there that bought the property, bought for the initial allotment bought for 450,000 naira. It's just, I mean, it's a site and services, but at that time, the whole place was all bush. Another person bought 2 years later for 800,000, and then he sold 7 years later for 14 million. Now he came back to me last year and was talking to me about buying the same plot for 25 million naira. And of course, he couldn't buy it anymore because the plot was now selling for 150 million naira. So we have so many scenarios that we can talk about. I mean, there's an adage in Yoruba that says that houses and land get tougher. So instead of us spending our money on, you know, other things, we're encouraging people to say, look, you can actually save and own your own home, even if it is not where you desire to live ultimately. It could be a seed home for where you really want to be. So there's still so much going on. There's a lot of urban renewal going on in Lagos, in Nigeria generally. Even in Port Harcourt, there are fantastic estates going on there. Even in Ife, Ile-Ife, you know, there's so many interesting developments going on. Abuja, it is countless. So many cities, even Ogun State is fast developing. I rode from Shagamu sometime in December, about Christmas period. I rode on the Shagamu, Lagos, I mean, Ijebu-Ode Shagamu, and I drove through Epe to come to Lagos. I couldn't believe the kind of infrastructure that has gone on there. So naturally, property prices in Epe and all those places are just going up. So nowhere is even left unturned. The same thing is also happening in UK. I was opportunity to be in UK in August, and I saw that a number of places, houses that had just one plot of, I mean, one unit of accommodation on a mass expanse of land. A developer bought it up and is doing several units of the same thing. So just it boils down to a teeming population all over the world. So what are we saying in essence? You know, real estate, of course, it's an opportunity for you to create wealth for the future. But this particular avenue we're introducing to you helps your purchase of real estate to be seamless. You can acquire your home in Nigeria, the home of your choice, your dream home, through this platform. You're not giving your money to any developer. You're not giving your money to an individual or a family whom you cannot take to court if anything happens. But we're saying, open an account with Sterling Bank, put your money there in your own currency. And then when the account is interest yielding. So when you identify the home of your choice or the one we have identified, then the money goes straight from the bank to the developer. Now, one of the things that I want to say here is that the developers that we are offering, we actually have profiled them, but of course, we're not saying you must buy from them, you know, but at least there are people that we have done some due diligence on what they're offering, and then we can say, yes, you can go for it. But peradventure, you identify one by yourself. We're willing to do the same due diligence and ensure that your home ownership dream comes to pass. Now, beyond buying you a home, one of the things I will do here is advisory services. You know, we would also at least be, if you intend to let out the house, you want to do Airbnb, we'll be here to at least walk you through all that process. The other thing is, yes, your tenants, are they going to be owing you because you're not in Nigeria? As best as we can, we take tenant selection very seriously. So we're going to be able to, we're very serious about the choice of tenants and do all the due diligence we need to do, so that at least there are no stories of what happened there. So peradventure, you already have an investment in Nigeria, and then you're saying, I think I can do better with what I have. We can also give you advice on the highest and best use that you want to give to that investment. So I would at this point, so now who are the people? I said that before, that, well, I mean, anybody can key into this scheme: high and middle income professionals, business owners, celebrities, young graduates, Nigerians in diaspora. So at this point, I want us to, if you have any questions, you can begin to post them in the chat room. But I'd like to pass on the mic to Tolani to talk to us about Sterling Bank. Now, when she's done talking, before we end the event, we're going to share with you a portfolio of properties that we have put together, if they may be of any interest to you. Now, if they don't, you can also send us a private chat. We're also going to land our numbers and our email address in the chat room. And then whatever it is that you want, we can also talk to you on one-on-one in case you don't want to share your thoughts in this room. So thank you very much for listening to me. But at this time, let's yield the mic to Tolani. She wants to talk to us about what you stand to benefit by having a relationship with Sterling Bank. Thank you. Hello, are you there? So Matolani, are you back in the room? I think she got logged out.
Yes, ma'am, yeah.
Okay, so you can begin to share your screen now.
Okay, all right, I'll do that. Ma, please, can you enable screen sharing? Okay. Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, according to your time zone. Okay, so my name is Tolani. I don't know, I'm trying to switch on my camera. I work with Sterling Bank, Emerging Corporates precisely. So I'm going to be talking about, our partnership with OHM. Mrs. Otepola has done a lot of justice on how to acquire and all that. So I'm just going to be discussing about our partnership and what to expect from us as a bank. So I'll give a brief introduction of Sterling. Sterling, okay, our slogan is that we are your one customer bank. So we treat every customer as their only customer. We have over 60 years of operation, and we started as Now Bank and we became Sterling fully in 2006. We met with ETB in 2011 and the integration was seamless and we completed the process in 2012. So as Sterling, we have 5 sectors we pride ourselves in. The acronym for those sectors is the ART sectors, which stands for health, education, agri, renewable energy, and transportation. Those are the sectors we know that we are huge on, and we do a lot of things with respect to those sectors. We have a lot of customers, a lot of partnership with various health, education, agri, renewable energy, and transport parastatals, and we are giving value and also deriving value from them. Okay, so we have over 10,000 POS machines, about 900 ATMs. We have over 1.1 users of our USSD code, that's the star 737. We have over 165 branches, over 3 million customers, and of course, over 2,500 staff. So I'll just go straight to our partnership with Sterling, our partnership with OHM, and what to expect as investors. So we know that a lot of Nigerians in diaspora actually have the desire to get houses in Nigeria. Some of them might be left with no choice than to send money maybe to their family members, tell them to, okay, help them build and all that. And upon return to their own country, they find out that what they ordered, I don't know how many people are familiar with what I ordered versus what I got. They've been sending you pictures, and by the time you get back home, you see that what you got, what they've been building for you is completely different from the pictures they've been sending to you. So what are we going to do as Sterling Bank? We're going to provide comfort to all our investors, and we're going to provide returns on the investment. So the money you are putting in for the purchase of the property, we also have returns. So you're not just pouring money somewhere without return, no matter how small it is. We are going to ensure preservation of value on investment. That is to ensure that it is what you want, you get. Like, we're not going to impose properties on you, but you tell us what you want and we work with your case and we ensure you derive value for your money to actualize investors' plan in owning real estate properties in choice areas in Nigeria. Like I said earlier, you're going to be the one to determine what you want, where you want it, how you want it. Ours is just to execute. And once you provide the funds, we just execute and we ensure you have real value for your money to eliminate hassles of investment in real estate for investors. I know we can't say this enough. There are a lot of hassles of investment, especially if you are not physically present where the investment is being made, where the house is being built, or where you are meant to purchase it. People can just get you anything. But here we are saying that we'll give you real-time value for whatever you want. So what is the investment process like? So investor reaches out to Solid Foundations or Sterling Bank representatives. Our names will be shared immediately after the meeting, and email addresses. So then Solid Foundation provides information on available properties in terms of pricing and location. So trust me, Mrs. Otekwala, Solid Foundation is tested and trusted. You can trust them in respect to the number of properties and the quality of properties you will get from them. And then Sterling Bank commences account opening process, of course, before you can even invest or put money in a bank. You have to have an account, and of course it can be done virtually because we know a lot of target markets are not here physically, so we can do that virtually for investors who are not in Nigeria. Then investors provide all required documentation. A non-checking account is opened and investor is advised. Trust me, the documentation process is very seamless. We won't ask for things we know you cannot get at the immediate. So investor makes available funds into the account opener. Funds are warehoused in an interest yielding manner. So once you open the account and you make deposits for the investment of your choice or for the house of your choice, we warehouse it in an interest yielding manner, regardless of how small that interest is. And then an independent project manager will be appointed by Solid Foundation Estates. So Solid Foundation does the appointment of the independent project manager who will manage and see through the entire process of the home ownership. Developer is paid in tranches, so we are not going to pay them once. We ensure that upon review and upon proper check of what has been done, we pay the developer upon confirmation of milestone achievement. So we're not just going to give them all the money at once, but at least we're sure of milestone achievement before we make any payments. No upfront payment is made to the developer. The final payment to the developer is based upon completion of the project. If the project is not completed, then the developer won't be paid. So upon completion of the project and upon confirmation that we are satisfied and the customer is satisfied with the property, then we can go ahead to pay the developer. So yeah, our contacts. My contacts is here, Motolani Fayomi, and my colleague, Moroke Iyogumbanmila. She's not available at the moment. So you can reach out to us anytime you want to start your investment or anytime you want to open an account. So thank you, and we look forward to hearing from you very soon. You're muted, ma.
Thank you, Motolani. Thank you so much. At this point, I wanted to know if there were questions, from anybody in the room, maybe for all that we've said, so that it won't be as if we're the ones all the talking. The floor is open now. Yeah, Mr. Badmos, you can please, thank you.
Yeah, good afternoon. Thank you for this wonderful presentation. Like you said, my name is Dr. Badmos. Precisely, I listened to a program on Channels TV with respect to the fraudulent going on in the real estate sector in Nigeria, specifically Lagos. My own concern, seriously, about that was that at the point of contract signing, you will have a different estimate, like say 20 million for a kind of housing unit. But at the completion, the industry is being riddled with the sharp practices of inflating that rate before they deliver the keys to the owners. In your own case and your kind of business model to that effect, how are you preventing the interest of the customer from being shortchanged at the point of delivering their houses to them, in terms of or relative to the fact that maybe it was signed at B initial for 20 million, but at the level of completion and delivery, it's another almost 10 million is added to it without advance or prior or objective reasoning for that. So can you try to clarify and state categorically the position of your own company vis-a-vis the bank to this effect? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Badmos. That's a very good question. Now, for, the thing about it, where you can have a variation is if you are paying in installments. If a property today you are supposed to buy for 20 million, that's the agreed rate, and you put your cash down, you definitely would close at 20 million. There is no gainsaying about that. But the thing is, where you can have a variation is if there's installmental payment. So one of the things we began to do, right now there's so much inflation. The naira to dollar or pound value is not the same. It's changing every day. So when you're going to sign an agreement, there has to be, like there's a development in there, there's a joint venture between Lagos State and a particular developer. The developer puts it there clearly that if you do not pay 70% upfront, you are going to be caught up in price changes. So it depends on you. Everything will be, the documents, we're not going to leave you. We're going to walk you through all this together. We're going to walk through this with you. If you sign up to pay an installment, that is certainly when. Even all over the world now, you cannot help the issue of inflation. It's happening everywhere. So it's your own choice to make. It will be a smart thing, for us to agree ab initio. Now, if you say that our own model, we are not in control of price materials. Another thing we now did is the people we are dealing with are profiled developers. We're not going to deal with just anybody on the streets. So they also have a name to protect because they want to remain in business. I hope that answers your question, sir.
Yeah, quite sure. Thank you, ma'am, for that quick response. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Do we have any other questions, please? Hello, or maybe some thoughts that you want to share with us. Okay, so while we are waiting for the question, I want to share with us a number of properties in our portfolio that at least we have profiled and we think they are good investment opportunities. We have a number of them, but you are free to, if you now choose to say you want to go elsewhere. So this one, the Hallmark Apartments, is the one I was describing that somebody bought initially for. The Hallmark Apartments is the one I was talking about that somebody bought last year, June, for 60 million naira, and the price is now 85. You can see it there. Now, when the development started, and that also answers the gentleman doctor that I just finished answering his question, the developer says if they're flexible payment plan, and it's over 24 months. That also does not, that means that you don't necessarily have to borrow. You can pay at your own pace. Initial development of 20%, quarterly 10%, and so on and so forth. Now, this kind of payment plan, you can be caught up actually in any form of increase that occurs. So that's the kind of thing I'm talking about there. So if you don't want to be caught up in any increments, then you have to think of the proper payment plan that suits you. So we have, this is the interiors. That's a 3-dimensional picture, but the place is still under construction. You have another place in Lekki Phase 1. Like I said, developers have gotten very creative. A 1-bedroom going for 25 million, a 2-bedroom going for 40, a 3-bedroom going for 50 million. This is by Nigerian Conservation Center. Then you have Another one in Harris Park is actually by, the Chevron headquarters roundabout. And it's it also has, you can also do an off-plan thing there. And so that surprises. There are different ranges: 2-bedroom maisonettes, 3-bedroom. You have the 3-bedroom flats with boys' quarter, 4-bedroom flats, and so on and so forth. But unfortunately, most of these developments are also having price changes. Is all because of inflation. Now, one of the reasons that the developers actually explained to us, if they don't want to compromise their quality, there may be a variation, but we began to advise them they should at least be a quarter or 6 months, grace for things like that. So every agreement may not necessarily be the same. So it should be your own wisdom and ours guiding you to at least look into that critically before you get on board. So there's Lekki phase 1 as well. You have apartments ranging from 160, terrace houses, maisonettes, and terrace house maisonettes, and the maisonettes come in two different types. Then we have the Tonbridge Wells apartment. That is also in Lekki phase 1, a 3-bedroom terrace house going for 130 million naira. Also in a Beaufort Park. Beaufort Park is like in the greater Lekki area. That area is called Shongotedu, near the popular Novel Mall. You have 3-bedroom apartments there going for 45 million naira. Then the Grenadines apartments are actually in Arepo, that's Ogun State. It's just the outskirts, of Lagos, but nice area as well. Very well built apartments for 25 million naira. You have the Jewel apartments there also in the Arepo area, close to the Redemption Camp for 22,500,000. This is in Abuja, in Lokogoma area, 3-bedroom terrace house going for 41.5 million. You have the Crambell apartments. This also is in Arepo area. Then we have another one in Ajah. You have this is in Abuja. No, sorry. This is in Ogun State, Makmo area. And this is a site and service scheme where you buy land, but there's infrastructure already. So you build to your own taste. Lokogoma in Abuja, we have the Michelle duplexes going for 61.28 million. You have, then there's another place in Abuja, in Arepo, that's called the Niche. You also, Arepo is going for as much as 65 million naira, but last year it was going for about 50. So a lot of investment is going on everywhere. This is in the greater Lekki area where you have, this also is called Wealthland. It's a gated community, has a number of houses. You have 2 bedrooms, you have 2-bedroom apartments, you have 3. Then you have 3 and 4-bedroom semi-detached and semi-detached houses. So a lot is going on, in all these areas. I would, for everybody in this call, when we're done with the meeting, we're going to share the recording of what has happened. So from there, you can actually pick and look at what suits you. This is Urban Shelter. This is the estate I was saying. The Lagos State has a joint venture with the developer, and they would always say it in their contract, pay 70% upfront so that you don't get caught up. But this project is going to be done by June this year. So the people that started from the beginning had the opportunity to pay in installments over a 2-year period. And when they started, they had 1-bedroom apartments. They were initially going for about 9-10 million naira. Now the apartments are sold out. So it's going to be a secondary market. And of course, the last set of people that bought for 15 million naira late last year. So anybody buying now will probably be looking at a 19 to 20 million naira. And the estate is still ongoing. This is Nest Apartments as well, almost sold up. 2 and 3-bedroom apartments in Lekki phase 1. There's also Jubilee Estate. Jubilee Estate is a joint venture between Lagos State. When they started out selling the 1-bedroom apartments, it was for 15 million naira. Is now going for 22 within a year. So a lot is going on now. That one, the drop, the rise in price has happened without even a tenant living there and without any effort on the part of the owner, just the market forces. So we can go on and on and on. So, I mean, that's my number there. And, so I just want to yield back to the house. If you have questions or you have contributions, maybe some experiences that you had, we can all learn from, or you want to, contribute in whichever way. So I'd like to hear from us.
Hello. I have a question here.
Yes,
Can I go on?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Yes, you can.
I'm just wondering, we are in the diaspora for it, and we do work hard for our money here. Mm-hmm. Our fear is always, how do we compete with people who have a lot of money on the loose? There are money on the loose in the Nigerian economy, and I know, everybody know. So when you mention millions here and there, we actually want to own a home, but in a cheaper way. I do not see any of this listing you have here for a common person. I mean, another person who's working out there and wants to have some millions. I know the rate is, comfortably good. I mean, compared to Naira, it's true. But then, where we are here, we can actually acquire property. I have a 4-bedroom house here. It costs me nothing to get. Once I have a job, I have everything going. The offer is for you to buy. You just have to see a contractor putting up, pay down some amounts, on the approval from the bank, And the way it is now, if I actually want to own a property, but you're talking of millions, far beyond what I even think is for the apartments, even. So how do you think some of us will be comfortable to get into this? Because the money is not there as you think. I'm sorry to say, as people think, that's what I'm saying. Isn't there a common ground where some of us can actually benefit, knowing fully that somebody is directly in charge? Because to tell you the truth, what I thought was you coming as a developer, the rock solid foundation, and then with the bank, probably you're on the ground developing some places, and then the bank is involved, Yeah, we know that kind of arrangement will bring this estate down. I mean, any development or any property, the prices will be down. But this is a third party or fourth party thing now. What do you think you can do on this area? Because it's so pricey. All these properties are pricey, and we are used to getting our things here once we are working. So we're looking more forward to that kind of arrangement. But I'm kind of disappointed. So I will tell you, maybe I was expecting too much anyway. But the presentation here, though, is well presented, and I appreciate that. Some of us appreciate that. It is well beyond some of us. What's your view about this fear of some of us?
Thank you very much for expressing your views, sir. And it's very, very well appreciated, and I'm happy that I have an answer for you. Now, if you realize when Tolani was talking, she mentioned that Sterling is a one customer bank. Sterling has a scheme called rent to own, but they would only give it for houses that the bank has vested interest in. In Nigeria, a commercial a financial institution is not allowed to invest heavily into real estate. But there are some assets that the bank had to acquire, possibly because before they were stopped from investing heavily in real estate, some customers owned them and the bank now, they couldn't pay back. And so the bank has vested interest in them. On the other hand, some customers of the bank also share those properties with the bank so that they can make it available to the bank's customer. So the bank has what you call, there's an arm of the bank called non-interest banking, and then they have also what you call rent to own. So there's a particular scheme in Lekki Phase 1. The 3-bedroom flats are selling now for between 45 and 50 million naira. And the person, the investor, can rent to own and pay over 10 years. That may suit nicely your expectation. But now the challenge is, you are in the diaspora. How does the bank profile you? That's number one. The second thing is, when I started talking about this, I talked about the psychology of owning real estate. Now, the thing is, you can start from where you can afford. We just gave, before I began to share those slides, I said that these are some developers we've profiled. Now, remember that I said, and it is a universal truth, real estate growth and return on investment is based on location. That doesn't mean that other locations are not good. So if, for example, you told us this is the area you would like to play, we will tell you what is available in that location. So, but the point is, it's always good to start from where you are, because every single real estate investment has the potential for appreciation. Even outside Lagos, even in Lokogoma, anywhere, Ibadan, Port Harcourt, everywhere you want to own real estate, it's not like a car, it's not a wasting asset. When you buy a brand new car, even if it is from Ferrari or whatever biggest brand you can think about, immediately you drive the car out of that car shop as brand new, and it goes a few miles, it has become a second-hand car. It's not the same thing as the one that is brand new. But real estate does not depreciate in value, it appreciates. If you buy a property now, anywhere you buy it, in another couple of years or months, it has the tendency, that is part of the characteristics of real estate, it must grow. So even just like the developed world, I mean, anyway, you must have chosen to live in a certain location, maybe because of access to your children's school or your place of work and all that. There are other areas, because of the neighborhood, you might choose not to go there. And those areas that have high risk, even insurance will be high for those areas. So it's the same thing for real estate as well. The other thing we can do here is your organization, your NIDO can actually form a cooperative. Now, so it becomes a game of numbers. You acquire land and then you build at your own pace. That's another thing we can do for you. So don't forget the fact that we said we can offer real estate advisory services. So if there are people like you, people of like passion, if you come together, you can acquire your own land and build at your pace. So you are not compelled to now say, oh, I must go for the millions and the billions of property. I don't know if that answers your question, sir.
Yeah, that's very good one. That's very good one. You just bringing on. That's very good. Go on.
Hello. Hello.
Thank you very much.
Dr. Badmus has his hand up.
Yeah, thank you, Ma. I could not but thank you for that explanation. Sequel to the former questionnaire and the concerns, that concerns is genuine, based on the fact that, but I just want to make a quick clarification. A social house-based approach or model is quite different from a market-driven approach, the one presented to us. So maybe that will, in a way, still answer the question of the questionnaire. But then I want to ask you, Ma, for based on your experience in the industry, we know some factors are obvious driving Nigerian real estate, because the growth at which Nigerian real estate, given your figure and record shown to us, shows that it's well profitable kind of business. But then there are still hidden factors that are driving this to this level that gives us concern. That is it real? We still have fresh memory of 2008 meltdown, financial meltdown, originated from the real estate, as it were then. So in the case of Nigeria, can you just tell me, maybe that's my own takeaway now, being who I am, and I'm very inquisitive to know, what are the hidden factors that are driving Nigerian real estate to this extent that, beside the fact that choice of areas and the profile of those areas, are there other factors driving this to this high level cost? I just want to know so that I can juxtapose that with your presentation and possibly have an informed decision. And again, you raise a concern about NIDO being an organic platform for us to reorganize ourselves from the diaspora. Are you telling us that we could advance a kind of collaboration with your organization and the Sterling Bank as it is? If that is the case, or a model you are proposing, please, if we need to a kind of explanation around that, so that possibly we could work around that to, one, relieve the previous questionnaire and the concerns, because sometimes it's not even the case of the cost, it is the case of those who are involved and how trustworthy they are, not changing the business, the model, the contract, and the rest of that. So thank you, Ma. Please, I really want you to really respond to these questions.
Thank you, Doctor. Mr. Keju raised his hand. I don't know whether I should answer Dr. Badmos's question first, or you want to make a comment before I go, but I don't want to lose my train of thought. So can you permit me to answer?
Yes, go ahead.
Badmos?
Go ahead, please.
So I would like to start from the last thing you said, whether Sterling Bank and our can collaborate with NIDO. Certainly, yes. Now, this is how it works. I'm also aware right now, Sterling Bank has this expanse of land that is an asset of the bank, and they are doing like a site and service scheme, just land, and they are selling to people. If you're you know that negotiation is usually a game of numbers. If you came together under the umbrella, or we have a number of people and say, we want to buy into this scheme, you are most probably going to get a negotiation, a good deal. Number two is that we can also work out a payment plan for you, so that at least you buy your land first and then take it further the next time. Another thing is, we have a couple of developers we're working with that can actually say, look, over a period of time, because this is your own group, this is what, work out a payment plan for you as well. Now, the other thing is to acquire the land, particularly in the name of NIDO, but I don't know how that works, because you see, you're going to have a problem of who are the trustees, registration, and people have different views at different times. People can relocate from NIDO and go elsewhere. So I think it should be safer. Yes, we are willing to work, with the organization and Sterling Bank, but Sterling Bank has a few products that I know that we can offer your organization. The other thing is, if we identified a particular property, if you came up and say, this is what you need to tell us your need, then we can now work around it. So I've answered that question. Now you also asked another question. What are the hidden factors that brings about the kind of growth potential that we are having in Nigeria? It is not plastic, it's real. It's not one of the key factors that drives real estate in Nigeria is the issue of the teeming population. Interestingly, when you're on flights, we go out of this nation a lot, and when you're coming by the inbound flights, especially when you go to a place like Asia, or you go to, some other, you see people coming in from Asia into this same Nigeria that people are stepping out of. I know a friend of mine who has come up with a kind of I'm trying to use the right one. He came up with a proposal, which I will still come back and describe to discuss with the organization, that the dream for every Nigerian to own a home. When he put up the product paper, a Chinese company, they signed up a contract with him for 10 years. And I'm not joking. This happened like a year ago. They were willing to borrow him money, not even an organization, because of that dream. That particular paper has attracted about 3 other African countries. Now, another person, and I'd like you to Google this name, there's Taff Holdings. Taff Holding is actually a Gambian, and about 14 years ago, a few of us were invited from Nigeria to come and help him sell an estate he developed in Gambia. He couldn't sell it to Gambians. It's only people in diaspora or Nigerians that could buy from him. When the estate succeeded, he now went and registered his company in about 7 other countries. But guess what? Nigeria was the first country he came to, and he built 1,200 homes in Port Harcourt that is seemingly supposed to be volatile. By the time I was talking to him yesterday, the 1,200 homes have been sold. Now, and then I have a friend in Canada who says, my hometown is Port Harcourt. I want to buy a home for my mom. Now I'm trying to get her, and what that developer is pointing me to now is that the houses available are the ones on the secondary market. So one thing that drives real estate and prices in Nigeria, number one is population. Then number two, the government policies, I mean, especially at the state level, they are beginning to pay attention because they know that in Lagos State, for example, land is gold. It's synonymous to gold to the government. Another thing is the availability of cash. Whether we believe it or not, I mean, there's money laundering going on all over the world. You know, so when people get money, they tend to like bring it into the system. And so there's a lot of money to play around with. But real estate now, everybody knows that working from home has become the in thing. So residential houses are selling more than commercial. So I don't know if that has answered your question, sir.
Definitely. For real, I could get value from what you said, particularly the man from Gambia. I think I follow up his conversation on one of these presentations. So you are too right to at least population growth and some other factors. I really thank you for this, and it's well, it's a robust presentation, so to say. Thank you. But on the side of that collaboration, possibly maybe the NIDO executive and some of us here, we have to sit down and have a serious deliberation over that, because it's an opportunity to have an organic organization like yours in Nigeria that is credible to really liaise and work with, possibly for our own interests, and get a much cheaper than the market-driven property in Nigeria. So thank you very much for this presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. So Mr. Akeju, you were going to make a comment. I saw your hand
raised. Yeah, good afternoon and morning, whatever you are. Basically, my comments is as regards the second, not the first person before the last speaker that asked the question. You said you're talking about millions. If you look at, the millions it looks big, but if you look at in terms of conversion rate, 45 million, 50 million you're talking about less than 50,000 pounds. And I mean, I don't know which part of the world you are. 50,000 pounds. Which house can you get? Can you get a 3-bedroom flat in the UK for 50,000 pounds? Which area of the UK are we able to get? So if you look at in terms of that, the millions and millions is making is because of the inflationary rates and the devaluation of our currency. As of last year, I think going for 45 million, you can get for 25 million. Then again, like Mrs. Otepola said, property market is a function of demand and supply. If the demand outstrips supply, definitely there will be escalating cost in prices. So most of those things, it's a function of where, I mean, okay, if you want, we all want to live on the island. Now, everybody wants to live on the island. But if the sites and services, the government puts pressure to reduce the pressure of, okay, everybody wanting to be in one concentration of areas, government should have we should always enforce to put like all this infrastructure and all that, so that other areas will be developed, so that and it will attract people living there. Infrastructure in terms of which the government is now doing, like rail accessibility to other parts of the states is available. People will be now when the rails are done connecting Ibadan to Lagos, people are now living in Ibadan will be coming from Ibadan to Lagos because they'll just have to commute. Like, and people do it in other parts of the world. Like in the UK, people live, I know of in London, people live in Cardiff, and live and they work in London. because not everybody can afford the kind of rents being commanded in central London. They live in Dartford, they live in other places. They commute 1 hour, 2 hours to go to and go back. So if the rail system and all that things, all the infrastructure works being put in by government are done, those things will fall in place. Because we don't, everybody looking at Lekki, gold, I mean, like Mr. Tapola said, land in Lagos is a gold mine. So, and the demand is outstrips the supply. So when those areas, likes of Ogun State, Ibadan, or your state, when they're expanding and they're growing, people can easily live in Ogun State and become Oshagama, become to work in Lagos if the infrastructure and networks are okay. That's just my own, because when you look at that figure, millions, because for 45 million, 50 million is less than 50,000 pounds. In which part of UK or wherever you will get a house, a decent accommodation, like the man said, you're placed in the 4-bedroom apartment. You can't get a 4-bedroom apartment in the UK for 50,000 pounds. Then again, in terms of the mortgage system is not robust in Nigeria. What we have, the mortgage system in most banks is a function of what the customers are given. Everything is a reflection of the society. Most people want short-tenured investments at the bigger rates, but in the UK, you have the single digits, but your tenured investments are longer. So those are things that drive the interest rates you're having and the financial system. It's a two-way thing. Then the government too needs to put in some things to ameliorate some of those things. That's just my take on it. It's not that, the people are saying now millions. Yeah, billions. It's everywhere in the society. We all have their societal demands, and the society has an effect on the demands of what people want.
Thank you very much. I would like to add my voice to his. Because of what I do, when people are trying to send their children abroad, they want to buy properties in Europe and North America. And then they all say, oh, if I buy a property in UK or in America, am I going to have citizenship? So that led me to begin to research into thoughts like that. And then, so currently, there is a particular customer of ours that wants to buy a 2-bedroom in UK, even in the Kent area, M5. And as of yesterday, I was, talking to a professional colleague of mine in UK, and he was telling me that the person must have about 250,000 pounds. For that kind of house, it would be between 250 and 300, and that's a 2-bed with probably 2 bathrooms. So real estate all over the world is really getting more expensive. Ottawa, I was opportunity to be in Ottawa in 2018, just before the pandemic. And a customer of ours, he wanted to buy a property and he had about 500,000 USD, Canadian dollars. That's what he wanted to buy for. But when you are bidding for houses, they usually advise, the realtors will advise you to do, maybe put like a 50 or 20,000 around top so that you be the highest bidder. At least you're able to win the bid easily. You guys are familiar with what I'm saying. And then the man put a 50 on top, and then he didn't win, about 2 bids. So we now found out that there was more demand than supply because of migration. At the end of the day, what we thought he was going to buy for about 550, ended up buying it for 650. But guess what? In a couple of months too, he had gotten some increment on his property. So all over the world, real estate is not stopping, it's growing. It's an edge against inflation. Thank you. So I don't know if we have other questions. Anybody else, any thoughts to share? Because I'm also learning from you. Hello? Can you hear me, please?
Yes.
Okay, so if we don't have any more questions, let's not overflow the matter. We have heard it all. I want to thank the executives of NIDO again for giving us the opportunity to present this platform, for giving us a platform to present this opportunity to you. And then I want to say that, the best time to act is now. if we have this conversation again in another 3 months or 6 months, the figures would have certainly changed. So I want to encourage us to, you know, go think about it, and then you can come back to us and let us know how we can help you to create your investment portfolio. And possibly you already have one in Nigeria. If you're having challenges managing it, you can please let us know, and then we can help you. Another thing is that Sterling Bank is coming up with an app that will help you to do so many other things in Nigeria. From your phone, you'll be able to pay for certain things instead of sending money home and somebody is telling you stories. So when the app is out, we'll also, you know, let you know. But as many persons that have registered for this webinar, we're going to send you the video of what has happened today, and then you can always please get in touch with us. Yeah, somebody asked a question. If we have a budget, can we advise properties in line with this? Certainly, yes, we can. If you have a budget, yes, we can. We would advise you what your property can buy, or what are the best, at least putting in mind the principle of highest and best use. We'll be happy to do that.
And again, ma, please, before you leave the platform, can you kindly share this conversation with the NIDO executive or some of us, so that
yes,
for the
we're
record?
Going to share it. We're going to share it. Everybody that is registered and in this room, we're going to send in the video. And so, you know, you can have a replay on your own, and also, excuse me, and also think of, I mean, just chew on it. We're going to share it. So I think I want to thank us very much for coming out. I hope it has been worth your while. And I hope that God will continue. I pray that God will continue to preserve our lives, and that all of you will come back home and reap the fruit of your labor. I hope there will be no more losses for anybody. You know, so we'll look forward to serving you and having a mutually beneficial relationship with you.
Thank you.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you.
We appreciate it.
Right, thank you, guys. Bye.
Bye-bye, Sam. I'm still going to be around for a couple of minutes in case anybody has a personal question.
Hello, sis. Thank you so much.
Sorry,
hello, sis. Thank you so much for the
call. Yes,
I was in the middle of a meeting, but I was just following. I just wanted to make sure that I'm here.
Okay,
I'll catch up with you. I'll catch up with you later, ma.
Okay, thank you so much for all the effort. We appreciate you too.
All right, ma. Thank you, ma.
Nice.
Okay, ma.
Thank you, Mr. Chima Oko. Thank you, Obina Ewuze. Thank you, Tina Oha. Thank you so much for coming out. Thank you, Dr. Mr. Mutairu Olusekun.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you, for showing up. Thank you, Mr. Saro. Thank you, Mr. Thank you, Olamide. Thank you, everyone. I hope I didn't miss anybody else. Thank you, Mrs. Feishito. Thank you, Pauline Afena. Everybody, thank you so much for spending time with us today. I hope it was worth your while.
Thank you very much. This is Vivian, Dr. Vivian Vaniguinoa here. I was shuttling between another meeting, but thank you very much. This was really nice, and well done. Thank you.
Vivian, thank you so much. I didn't know I was muted. Thank you so much for coming out of your busy schedule. It was nice seeing you again today. Thank you, Chima Oko. Thank you. So we're here. So when you guys have come up with a proposal, we'll be here to serve you.
Definitely.
I look forward to coming to Ireland, actually, to come and meet with you.
Ah, that would be beautiful.
I really am looking forward to it.
Yes, we look forward to having you here as well. So thank you very much. We'll get back in touch with you later on.
Okay, sir. I'm okay, my friend.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We are looking forward to meet you in Ireland.
No, I'm planning to come. So that you can put a face to the transaction so that you can know this is me live.
Okay, we can't wait to see you. I will
So
do that.
this Gele, I had a wedding to attend, a very close family. I couldn't help but go for the wedding. So as I was coming, I quickly.
Yes, but it suits you well.
Thank you, Madam Tina. Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Okay. Bye-bye,
Yeah.
ma. Thank you. Have
Bye.
a great, great day. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye.
Bye-bye. Mr. Obina, thank you.